All right, this is what I want to speak on today. Why do black people in America think they came from Egypt? Now, this video is not going to be an expose. This video is not to debunk anything. This video is simply to explain the plight of African Americans and African Americans, and the knowledge, and the desire for identity, the thirst for identity, the rejection of the identity that we feel was placed onto us by outside forces. So, in a psychologically vulnerable place, we must find our own identity. Now, ancient Kemet is also another way to explain ancient Egypt. Now, you're going to say, okay, so how is it possible that black people come from ancient Egypt? Black people obviously come from all parts of Africa, predominantly West Africa. That's Brother Jabari, and I think I'll do him justice by repeating something that he said. It's not this. The concept of Kemet isn't that all black people come from Egypt. It's all black people come from Africa, but because Egypt was the premier African country, its culture had tentacles that spread all throughout Africa. It's just like saying, okay, I come from Europe, but really you come from Greece. But because the European identity is more, has more cachet than the Greek identity, even though the Greek identity has its own history, I'm a European. So that's the whole concept. It's not that they're saying that black people specifically come from Egypt. They're saying that black people come from Africa, but because Egypt was the premier country that dominated culturally in terms of influence, that was the culture that was the brightest and best. Therefore, that's the culture that we're going to attach ourselves to. But it's not exclusive to Egypt. You can also celebrate the culture of other various countries in Africa, but these people choose to celebrate the Egyptian identity because they think that the Egyptian identity was the premier identity. And they think that the Egyptian identity is so great and so diverse and just so profound that it does a pretty good job of representing Africanism as a whole. So, basically that's what it is. And there's this thing, you've got black people who believe that black people are the Israelites. And I'm not here to debunk any of that. I'm not here to do that because I respect everybody's beliefs. I respect everything about your beliefs. I don't care what you believe in. I respect it. I do. I genuinely do. I'm just here to give you the psychology of why people think these things. They think these things simply because they are rejecting the Americanism that typically black people are defining themselves in. Black people were stripped of their identity, stripped of their language, and a lot of people find solace in finding their own identity. They feel like, well, look, I'm not going to take the identity of the slave master. My last name was given to me by the Europeans. I want my own identity. And I think that's just a symptom of how lost black people are in terms of a collective identity. We don't really have a collective identity. We don't really have a collective culture. We do, but we don't. Black culture is black culture. Black culture is B.B. King playing the guitar, fried chicken, Delta blues. You understand? That's black culture. Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, they were influenced by the Delta blues artists. They loved them. I already showed you the video of Mick Jagger going on stage with Muddy Waters. They're in this smoky little small nightclub. Muddy Waters is picking up his guitar. Come on, Mick Jagger, bring it, come up here, boy. And they start singing together, and you can see the love that Mick Jagger had for Muddy Waters. That's black culture. Black culture is living in the hood, inner city America, candy lady, cigarette lady. That's black culture. But in some people's minds, they don't want that. They want more. They want more. So what they do is they join these, what I call subcultures, and they say, well, I don't want black culture to be my black culture. I want my black culture to be Egyptian. I want my black culture to be Israelite. I'm an Israelite. I'm an Egyptian. And yeah. Yeah, and it's like that, man. And Shaka Amos, I got a lot of respect for him. I'm going to show you him because if you're not familiar with this stuff, he actually has the Egyptian it's people call it a ponytail, but it's not a ponytail. It's a masculine. He wears the little Egyptian thing that the pharaohs wore. You understand? Oh my gosh, Shaka almost cut his hair. He's bald now. He doesn't wear it anymore. That's him now, but that's how he used to look. You see, he got that little thing. That was him representing his ancient Egyptian culture. And I like it because at the end of the day, I love people. Look, at the end of the day, I like it and I don't like it, okay? I love people who have a thirst for knowledge. I love people who have a thirst for culture, but we already have our own culture. And I'm not disrespecting anybody's beliefs. I'm just saying that Black American culture is already there. It's already there. We don't have to go find culture. We already have it. Look up the neighborhood, the Black historic neighborhoods in your city. We got a neighborhood called Jackson Ward. It's a historic neighborhood that was a Black Mecca. Every American city that has Black people has that historic neighborhood. That's Black culture. And I just feel like we need to embrace the culture that's right in front of us. Playing guitar is Black culture, but we put the guitar down. We're looking up at space, Saturn, Venus, Mars. And I just feel like sometimes the thirst for knowledge can send you off track. You have such a thirst for knowledge that you're looking at Mars. Maybe we come from Mars. Maybe we come from Saturn. When in reality, your culture is right in front of you. When your mama pass you that recipe on that fried chicken recipe, or your grandma cook a whole pack of fried chicken in 2 minutes, that's Black culture. How did she cook that chicken so fast? How? That's Black culture. Man, my grandma would cook a whole pack. I mean, I used to be like, how did she cook it so fast? And it'd be good. That's Black culture. Cooking chicken fast, making it good. Don't you notice the number one Black business in America are Black restaurants? They always succeed. Everybody loves Black restaurants. They love it, man. That's Black culture. So I understand that people are looking for identity. I understand that people want more. But sometimes that desire for more can send you off track. And next thing you know, you're part of an organization drinking Kool-Aid. And I don't mean any disrespect to the Hebrew Israelites or the people who study Kemet. I'm saying that oftentimes you have a basic goal. I want to find my identity. I want to find who I am. And that leads you off track. And next thing you know, you might be in a suicide pact. And I'm not referring to those groups. I'm talking about, let's say, Jim Jones, for example. The people who were in his church, they were fighting for racial equality initially. Their church was known as the church that fought for racial equality. It was a diverse church with white and Black Baptists. That was their mission, to end racial discrimination. But then eventually it got to a point where they said, you know what, we're going to move to South America, get our own land. We're going to remove ourselves from society because society is evil and racist. So we're going to create our own society. See, the basic goal was to eliminate racism in their own commune. But then it got to a point where it started going off track. Now they're in South America. Now they've removed themselves from society. Now they're drinking Kool-Aid because now they got into a suicide pact because they felt like we will never achieve racial equality in this lifetime. So let's die, and maybe we'll reincarnate into another lifetime where racial discrimination doesn't exist. And that's what I'm saying. If you stay on track, you'll meet your goal. But once you start looking up to Saturn and Mars and Venus, what's that over there? You get off track. And like I said, I don't mean no disrespect to any of those groups. I'm just talking generally. Because like I said, people find happiness in the Hebrew Israelites. People find happiness in Kemet. And I can't knock it. If that's what makes you happy, then that's cool. I would love it if these guys, these groups are more concerned about their numbers. They want to increase their numbers. That way they increase the financial health of their group. Because at the end of the day, these are organizations that are LLCs. They're not just these religious group charities. They're LLCs. And they exist to make money. That's one of the functions. If they don't have members, they don't have money. Therefore, they can't have an LLC. Or whatever they have, nonprofit, whatever. The goal is money. The goal is to keep the organization financially solvent. And a lot of times that prevents us from being united because you got these people over here, that group, that group, that group. Nobody's united. Everybody's in these different splinter groups. And really, if we could all get together on the same page and say, okay, we're going to start a new operation. How do we create more graduates and dropouts? How do we get our inner city neighborhoods to be places of cultural excellency? as opposed to ghettos with gangsters who are the number one influence? How about we encourage our rich people, successful people to move back? That way the kids will have influences besides the gangsters. I feel like if we could make those two goals our mission, and all these different groups could unite under those two goals, it could happen. But I think everybody's looking for something deeper. And if you're looking for something deeper, you'll never find it, because something deeper is deep inside and you'll never get to it, because the closer you get, the further it's gone, the further away it goes. That's the beauty of these groups. You're looking for something deep. And right when you're about to touch it, they move it back a little further. So you'll never grab it. So you'll always be looking. But if you know your goal and you make a goal that you can achieve, let's create graduates, not dropouts. Let's make our inner city neighborhoods great. You can actually see the results. You can see that's tangible. But that's the beauty of organizations, religions, and groups. They make people want more. And as soon as they get closer to the more, it moves further away. And they end up being stuck in a group. And their original goal, which was self-identity, self-culture, has now evolved into something else. Now they're on Mars. They think they come from Mars now. So it's crazy. No disrespect. Peace to the gods. Peace to everybody who rep Egypt. Peace to everybody who's Israelites. Peace to them. I see them. I see those brothers on the corner putting in work. I see you. And I salute you. Peace.